Here's Johnny.
I know, I've been gone for a hot minute now. My fault, YouTube. But let's get straight to it with these bad specials, shall we? First on the list, we have Tip Harris, aka T.I., with his stand-up comedy debut, which dropped at the end of 2025, Cheaper Than Therapy. This man hits the stage wearing a red leather Eddie Murphy delirious suit. Regardless, if he's paying homage or poking fun at himself as an imposter in stand-up, he must be delirious his damn self thinking this was the right move.
I'm winded. I'm out of breath. I'm sweating and shit.
Even the most seasoned comics avoid doing shit like this, unless it's a roast. Anyways, he comes out to one of his songs as the crowd raps along to it. He tells the DJ to cut it off before people start expecting a concert, followed by him shamelessly admitting to knowing that he has a crowd due to his music career, but claims he's just a dude from Bankhead going through some shit.
I could either deal with my traumas and tragedies by paying a therapist $300-400 an hour to talk to them and lay it on them.
Or he can milk his fans for money to lay it on them.
I can get y'all to pay me, bring it in here, I can lay it on y'all, you hear what I'm saying? So,
well, at least he's acting like a seasoned comedian, I guess. He opens up with an explanation about him knowing he wanted to do comedy since the first time he hit the stage and got a laugh. He admits everyone told him to wait, but he was ready since week 3. So basically, he's the opposite of Brendan Schaub. The first actual joke is about Young Thug and his RICO case when he questions how did they use his lyrics against him in court.
how they gonna use his motherfucking lyrics against him in the courtroom? How the fuck they know what he's saying? We've been trying to figure this shit out for years. This nigga obviously rapping in cursive. How in the fuck do they know?
We get some jokes about his career, meeting Usher, his come up and whatnot. Nothing remotely funny in my opinion, but he's a decent storyteller at the least. Then he starts talking about his wife for a bit.
Let me tell you something. She wrote a song for another legendary group, TLC, called No Scrubs. That motherfucker went diamond plus, you dig?
And he has a joke about the song she wrote for TLC, No Scrubs, and it's kind of funny, but I saw the punchline coming from a mile away.
And do you want to know how I met my beautiful, beloved, filthy rich wife? I hop fresh out the passenger side of my best friend's ride. Walk right up on her and say, hey, baby, how about me and you get to doing some things? You understand me? If it can happen to me, it can happen to you.
The best joke comes at the end of the special when he starts talking about his son King.
If you have a son, don't name your son King, nigga. Don't you do no dumbass shit like that.
In case you don't know, his son, who is, according to T.I., basically raised in the suburbs, is always getting into shit, trying to portray that hood life that his father lived before the money and fame. He feels that it all started with one moment when the feds raided his house back when he was charged with possession of a firearm in 2007.
He did that shit on his own because he my daddy. And he from the streets, and he my daddy. You dig what I'm saying?
These motherfuckers go with helicopters, battle rams, you know what I'm saying? They shot the smoke canister through the window. Hit 3-year-old King in the arm.
With that moment changing the trajectory of his son's actions.
His brother's treating him like you're supposed to treat your little brother, making him wait his turn to play the game. You know what I'm saying? You lost, nigga, it's my turn. And nigga King had enough. He snatched that goddamn game, took his shirt off, stood up on the table, said, hell no, where was y'all niggas when the feds hit? I said, whoa, this nigga crazy.
Come on, gangster.
Due to his long career in music, he does have confidence and charisma, but what's lacking is the experience of an actual stand-up comedian. Throughout the special, his confidence on stage is what keeps the special moving along versus actual comedy techniques. As I mentioned, the Young Thug joke was good, the joke about his wife and No Scrubs was alright, and the joke about his son King was funny, and I'm sure his friends in comedy helped him with a lot of the bits, but it still didn't hit as hard for me. The worst part of this special was having to pay $6.99 Earth currency to watch this shit. Just for that, I'm popping in these old beef DVDs to watch Little Flip talk about his crew slapping T.I. down in Houston.
as T.I. pulled into this notoriously dangerous section of Houston. Right behind was Little Flip. Clover G underboss Black Al Capone punched T.I. A fight ensued, which was broken up when someone fired off a round from a handgun.
Speaking of H-Town, the next special is by another rapper from Houston. Taking the stage to try stand-up, it's Chingo Bling with his 2017 special, They Can't Deport Us All. Now, Chingo Bling has never been able to reach the level of success T.I. has with music. However, his rap persona and gimmick have always been parody, so I'm expecting an easier transition into humor on stage. He opens up with jokes about the border and weed is legal, but my cousin isn't.
I wasn't even thinking about smuggling weed, because like, they're legalizing weed. My cousins, not so much.
All jokes that I've heard some variation of before.
But it's fucked up. Weed is legal and my grandma isn't.
Randomly, the special fades into a sketch about the last joke. Very odd, and it adds nothing to his joke. On top of that, it leaves me wondering, is the crowd watching this or was this shit added in post? When the sketch finally ends, it comes back to Bling on stage, but then he starts introducing another comedian, Jesus Sepulveda. But the description of the special has no mention that this is a variety show. This guy's set follows the exact same formula as the opening.
Hey! I don't want potitos crying in this house, okay? Trying to watch the news. Cállate, cabrón.
With more jokes I've already heard about Mexican parents, mentioning the accent, strict rules, and everything else I've watched during a George Lopez special over 20 years ago.
Mira, cabrón. Why are you crying? I barely touch you. Want me to hit you for real? Come over here. Want me to hit you for real? Mira.
After Jesus' set, Chingo Bling hits the stage, this time doing a character, and just like the skit, misses and adds absolutely nothing. Next on the stage, we have John Stringer. Of the sets so far, this is one of the best, but it doesn't mean much since the bar is so low. Even though I still didn't laugh, I see the first actual signs of comedy techniques besides just being silly and overused stereotypes.
I was trying to be nice. I buy a drink, I hand it to this girl. She takes it, she's trying to be funny, but here's what she says. Are you trying to roofie me?
We get a mix of some edgy, observational, and slightly absurd humor, but the delivery is his downfall here.
And why would I roofie you here? I can't carry you by myself. If you ever see me in a nightclub with a forklift, then you can be suspicious.
Unfortunately, we get another skit that we could have done without. The next comedian that we get is Jerry Garcia, and finally, I'm starting to laugh. Most of his set is about being a father.
But you gotta love the kids. You have to love the kids. Huh? That's what the judge told me.
I like the Chuck E. Cheese joke comparing it to Vegas.
And just like us in Vegas, they think, dog, they think they're gonna hit it big, right? They think. Oh yeah, they think they're gonna win the biggest prizes in there. Right, they want the mountain bike, right? It's up high that no one's touching the 80s and shit.
Honestly, I wish that he would have had a longer set so we could see what else he has.
Right, and just like us in Vegas, right? They become like little fiends, right? They're like, just like every 5 minutes, like, come on, Dad. Just 5 more bucks, Dad, come on, Dad. The machines are hot. Right, the slots are loose. I'm like, the slots are loose. Where'd you learn that, man? And where'd you get the cigarette, dude?
Chingo Bling comes back out to wrap up the special. The best joke that he has is about being named after his dad and grandpa.
I was named after my dad. I'm Pedro the third, so it was my grandpa, my dad, then me. My dad wants me to keep it going. He says, if you have a son, name him Pedro too. I say, hey, that's enough. We're not iPhones. Not gonna be 7 of us.
Other than that, though, I'm just thankful it wasn't another skit, I guess. The issue with this special is that it can't decide what it wants to be. Is it an actual stand-up special? Is it a skit show? Or is it a variety stand-up spotlighting different comedians? And worst of all, it misses in all 3 categories. Changing lanes, going back to specials performed by people whose career consists of comedy, let's go to the third special, which is Hannah Gadsby's Nanette special from 2018. Let me start by breaking down Gadsby's style of comedy. She starts by telling a story from her life experiences or about art history or social issues, taking dark or heavy topics and setting it up with this cheeky tone, making it almost lighthearted.
The wisdom of the day was that if you chose to be gay, then you should just get yourself a one-way ticket to the mainland and don't come back. Gays, why don't you just pack your AIDS up into a suitcase there and fuck off to Mardi Gras?
With the punchline breaking the illusion of silliness with a hard truth or opinion.
Because homosexuality was a crime in Tasmania till 1997. Not long enough ago.
Another being a conversation she's having about Van Gogh, and the person being glad Van Gogh didn't medicate, otherwise we wouldn't have the sunflowers paintings. She goes on to explain how he did medicate as well as self-medicate through substance abuse. The stories are interesting and she's able to tell them without losing the audience, but for me, it's like she's giving more attention to making her point versus delivering the best punchline. While I understand her stories, her setups, and the punchlines, I never found myself laughing at anything. I felt the delivery was rather stiff, not just vocally, but physically, as she stands in the exact same spot from the moment she steps on stage until she leaves. Adding to the style of delivery, after the first few jokes, it all gets repetitive, with the jokes going story with moments of exaggerated tone or voice to make it sound silly, blunt truth or opinion about said story, rinse, wash, repeat. Something else that I noticed during my watch that I need to mention real quick. For about a decade now, since Chappelle made his first trans jokes causing outrage among said community, I've noticed time and time again spectators and comedians alike, including Gadsby herself, talk about these jokes and how jokes are supposed to be funny and so on and so forth. I mention all this to say that during this set, Hannah mentions a letter she received telling her she owes it to her community to identify as trans. She admits that she isn't trans.
I don't think even lesbian is the right identity fit for me. I really don't. I may as well come out now. I identify as tired. As tired.
What the hell is even that?
This is not to say that I want to hear Chappelle, or any comedian for that matter, keep repeating the same jokes we've heard hundreds of times already. But I really hope someone in the jokes are supposed to be funny crowd approach Hannah to let her know that shit was corny, bro. But I digress. At one point, the special goes from stand-up to a TED Talk therapy session. I won't get too deep into the closing bit as I don't want to make light of the tragedies that she went through. I'll simply say, sticking to rating humor and comedy, that it isn't funny and the ending steered away from joke-telling completely. The special tries to follow the footsteps of Carlin or Hicks, talking about political and social issues mixed with punchlines, but Gadsby forgot to include the punchlines.
No, you won't laugh because it's not funny. But if you still want to hear it, I'll tell it.
And finally, the last special that I'm reviewing is Rob Schneider's 2023 special, Woke Up in America. As far as material goes, this special was the complete opposite of Gadsby's special, talking about liberals, yoga pants, vegans, COVID masks, and the oppression of straight white men.
Losing, shut the fuck up. White people ain't losing shit. If y'all losing, who's winning?
So here we are, in a culture where suddenly the word woman is controversial. What? How? Controversial? How? Because it discriminates. Really? Against who? Well, against people who identify as women, but have dicks.
I can't do it. You always said you'd love me no matter what. You're a 30-year-old dude.
I know the jokes are supposed to come off as edgy humor, and for anyone with extreme political views, it might be, but for me, it's just lazy social media rage bait written into an hour of stand-up. It's like watching one of those awful debate videos of 20 liberals versus one conservative, and I'm sitting here wondering who comes up with this shit. The edgiest joke is literally his closer about going to see Paul McCartney at a concert and going backstage with his daughter who was sick, and she blurts out,
I have COVID! He gave me COVID! Now I have COVID! Now you're gonna get COVID!
and a nervous Schneider looks at McCartney and tells him,
You're 80. That's pretty good. 80's solid. 80. 80's good. I would take 80, 80, It's not like you die at 80, anyone's gonna feel like you got ripped off. I mean, 80's a solid, if you look at all the rock and roll, 80, 80's good, 80. That's like 2 John Lennons.
He has another joke using gross out humor about his vasectomy. He asks the doc what's going to happen to his swimmers. He gets informed that the body absorbs most of it and just expels the rest. And Schneider goes on for a bit about his swimmers leaking from different orifices.
I can't be like, one day I'm watching an Italian movie. I start to tear up a little bit. Next thing I got jizz coming out my eyeballs.
Right around the 50-minute mark, he randomly starts quoting lines from his roles in 50 First Dates and The Hot Chick. Thankfully, it doesn't go on for too long, but still, it's long enough to be awkward.
You think you're so cool because you can pee with your penis. Can I get sex on the beach with extra sugar on the rim? Yum! Sorry. That was too long. I shouldn't have done. I could do the whole movie, but I shouldn't.
Despite having polar opposite views, Schneider and Gadsby do have one thing in common in their specials. They prove that leaning too far to one side just to bash the opposition without ever taking the time to reflect and make fun of your own side is only going to alienate anyone who isn't on the same side politically. These specials are made for their hardcore fans and nobody else. I really don't want to rank any of these specials since none of them fully felt like comedy shows, but if I had to, it would go first place T.I. I'd be willing to actually go back and watch it at a later time and rewatch the special to make sure I didn't miss anything, even though I don't feel like I did. Second place would go to Chingo Bling due to Jerry Garcia and the potential of John Stringer. Third would be Rob Schneider. Even though it was hacky, at least he was trying to be silly and comedic the entire time. And last place is Gadsby. Feel free to watch these specials and make your own judgment. To watch T.I., you have to buy the special on his website, appropriately named tipaintfunny.com. Chingo Bling you can rent or buy on Amazon Prime. And there is a full video on YouTube, but it's not full screen. And then Gadsby is on Netflix and Schneider is on Fox. Comment if you agree or disagree, recommend other bad specials I should watch, and I'll see about adding them to the ever-growing list. Oh, and Dusty Thoughts 95, I see you, I hear you. Your suggestion is part of the next Bad Specials video, don't worry. As for this video, that's it. I'm out.